going to ask Nell and Patricia first about the original stage play and what that experience was like, as compared to when you found out it was going to be a movie.
Well, one was live in front of an audience. The other one a very quiet, dead camera. And, well, I was such a wee young lass when I got part in the play, and so I was thrilled, but just took the whole thing in my stride, because it was the smallest theatre imaginable. I mean, it sat 60 people.
It doesn't matter what the size of the theatre, it's still the same experience as an audience.
Oh no, to me it was much, because it wasn't like a theatre really. But when we were doing it,
never really done anything.
yes, exactly. So to me it was, I mean, I passed on the street. I've been in Alfie in Sydney.
Oh,
But
on the stage?
yeah, on the stage.
Oh, what did you play?
One of the girls, I can't remember her name. You know, one of Alfie's broads, one of his birds. So anyway, but it was just an absolute blast because it was at this theatre that everyone was, you know, terrific that we were working with. And we opened after 3 weeks rehearsal, and it was just an unbelievable success. And I thought, oh, this is what it's like being in a show. Over you go.
I'd done a lot of work before that. And actually, I've even been in the Threatening Opera, Prince of Wales Theatre, which is a 2,200 seater. And under known to be Michael White, Shorty White was the producer. I never knew who the producer was. And he was the producer of Rocky Horror. But he was always in the background, you know, I wasn't visible. You know, often producers aren't. So I didn't realise he was connected with both these things. So it was extraordinary to do, and I said to my agent, I said, what is this about? He said, first of all, he said, you have to sing a rock and roll song. I said, I couldn't have to do that. I can't sing rock and roll songs. I played Maria in West Side Story at my drama school, I could do that, but not rock. And then he said, I said, okay, and I said, what is this about, this thing? He said, I think it's something about a circus. So my point is, I've been in the circus ever since. The circus never left time. It's amazing. We're 40 years young last year, and we are now the longest running film in cinema history. And that made me shiver. That's awesome. And not with anticipation. But it did. And I thought, isn't that astonishing? And the reason is, everyone says, what about Gone with the Wind? What about, I said, the Gone with the Wind went. And we didn't go nowhere, because we're the only film that's ever stayed in the cinema. So we've made history. Isn't that extraordinary? I've been around the world with this circus and promoting the 20th century, like they sent me around the world, literally, Sydney, Australia, blah, 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 and to promote the DVD when it came out, you know. And then wherever I went, like in Munich and wherever the show was on, in Milan, all over, I could just walk in, sing science fiction in my own clothes, and get a bouquet. Take a bow, and hey! And I thought, I'm just like Maria Callas, the diva. I just drop in and sing my aria and leave. Same thing.
So now, Mary, when you came on board for the film,
I was a huge star.
oh yes, absolutely.
I didn't struggle at all like these two over here, you know.
But you and Susan kind of had to enter a group that had already been together for a while doing this.
Yeah.
So how was that experience? And was it like an immediate meshing of people, or did it take you a while to get in the group of what this was? Did you really understand Rocky Horror when you took the part?
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, we were all, I lived in New York. I lived down in the Bowery, and I was down right opposite the factory and right around from La Mama and all these sort of, you know, theater of the ridiculous, off Broadway people. And so yeah, I understood it.
Excuse me, may I ask you, did you see it?
What are you saying?
I said, excuse me.
Yeah.
I'm being asked to be excused to ask you a question. I don't mean to interrupt you.
But you did.
A bit boring.
I
Did you see it in Los Angeles when Tim Curry was in it? Well,
Or in New York, he was in New York too.
did you see it?
I saw it in Los Angeles with Tim, and
That's why you understood it.
no. Yes. What do you want me to say? I'm so upset. I don't know. I'm having an anxiety attack here with you.
She's terrifying.
Oh my God, she scares me. So I saw Tim in it, and Tim was brilliant, and I had a couple other friends in it in LA, and
It's done.
there you go. It was. And they had Susan and I come in as a sort of a team to meet the producers, and I don't remember ever auditioning. Susan said she auditioned, right?
Well, she'd have to. I'm no imposter.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you were a star in Greece.
I was a huge star.
Oh, good.
Huge in front
We
of
all knew he could sing and dance.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
But she was sure.
Yeah, no, we went in because we knew the casting agent or director or whatever they call him, Joel Thurm, and he knew us, and he knew that we were the sort of ultimate nerd. I was the ultimate nerd, and she was the ultimate potential sex pot, and or slut, if you want to say it. Slut, basically, she was cast because she was a slut. And I was cast because he knew I'd go either way. And so that's how I got the job. And when we went to England, I really never got to know you guys very well. We were pretty much
He had time.
He was so dull.
Next time, the first convention in New York with Barry, I hadn't seen him since the filming, and he said to me backstage, he said, "Hi, Pat." I said, "Hello." He said, "You actually thought I was Brad, didn't you?" And I said, "Yes." And I haven't changed my mind.
It was a hard job. I mean, it was a hard. We got there, and once we got off the plane, we were in pre-records, we were in rehearsals, we were in cars.
How many weeks did it take to make it? 8, 9, 5?
5
That's
what?
not true.
It's true.
How many weeks did Rocky Horror take to make?
5 weeks.
5 weeks.
We did that in 5 weeks. We made that film in 5 weeks. We're amazing! I can't believe that. That's not true. It is true. Oh my God. That's why we didn't get to know anyone. We worked our asses off.
That's right.
And lots of photographs taken by me. Well, we're lying, sleeping everywhere. I'm on the slope in the laboratory, the agenda, out cold. We've got Richard and Brian lying in front of the throne. You and I are sitting on it. He's sound asleep. We were asleep all the time because that was such a hard shoot. It's unheard of.
And
Look at
the
Charlie
musical
thing in the chocolate factory. That geezer today we had. Charlie and the chocolate. Talks about Tim Burton. They had 6 months to rehearse it.
To rehearse
6
all kinds of
months
costume.
to shoot it. And we did this in 5 weeks. A musical.
So apart from Deep Roy, no one's just talking about Charlie and the Chocolate Factory anymore anyway. So, but this film has lasted for this long. And what, as someone who has seen it almost 1,000 times at the theater, and who's acted in it, and MCs it, and will do that tonight at the Vine, which you guys should all know. What is it about the film that draws, and I don't want to insult anybody in here, but it kind of draws those people who are outcasts. It kind of draws those people who wear that we don't fit in as a badge, that kind of think of it as part of their personality, as a defining thing for many teenagers. It's kind of a rite of passage in this country in particular, and all around the world, to go and see Rocky Horror, to get involved, to yell the lines, to be de-virginized at the theater. So, what do you think it is?
I resent the word outcasts, and I think if I was a fan, I would shout. Because Susan sort of says that as well, like the misfits, you know, didn't fit in. And you think, what are you all talking about? I don't agree with that. I mean,
But
people
people
have sat
describe-
label on themselves.
I know, but people have described themselves to me as that. Fans have.
I don't know those ones. They're all rather like myself.
Outcasts, yeah, unique individuals, you know, people who are actually,
Like
I
us.
think, smarter and more interesting than their schoolmates. You know, people who have a wider view of the world, wanted to see more of the world inside of their own psyches and outside in the actual physical world. I don't think that they were, hindered in any way by.
Yeah, but the point is that the whole thing was that this was marketed at my work, because 2 years was a sleeper. And the guy said at Fox, we'll put it on at all the campuses in America, and we'll put it on like midnight in Greenwich Village. That's the marketing made it work. So this, I mean, all the campuses, we call them university students, I think we call it, and they've all done it at university. They've all joined the cast of Rocky Horror. So I wouldn't say they were misfits. Do you know what I mean? I mean, they're the university students who all got a chance to do Rocky at their colleges.
That's some of the fans. But we've got,
High school.
yeah.
High school,
Well, when you look back when it was first really discovered in midnight movies, you know, I'm talking, would you please be quiet? I feel like Trump up here, huh?
Who's going to vote for Trump? Is it even here?
politics into this. I was nearly murdered in the fish restaurant mentioning that. I shouldn't mess with these Americans.
I lost my total train of thought. I have no idea what I was saying. All right, next question.
Rather than, and I'm going to just clarify my point, rather than saying outcasts and misfits, I think it's people who discovered themselves in a way by seeing Rocky Horror, by having that experience, by finding that there were other people like them in the world.
And that's fantastic. And I met the most wonderful woman yesterday, I don't know if she's here, who gave me the bracelet. Are you here? Anyway, she said that, you know, her life was almost over. And when she discovered our film, she said it just changed her life and gave her a reason to live. And she was incredibly emotional when she was telling me this. And it was, you know, can you imagine how much that meant to me, that this film that we just made in the hope to entertain people has helped people through whatever crisis or insecurity they felt about themselves.
Yes, but the point of my book was I was with Peaches Christ in San Francisco, did a show with Peaches, and Peaches would do a chat with me on the stage, and Peaches said at the age of 15, Rocky Horror changed his life. And I listened to this for 3 times, and then eventually I said, Peaches, I have to say, we weren't out to change anybody's life. We did a show called the Rocky Horror Show upstairs at the Royal Court, and we were kicking our heels up, doing sex, drugs, and rock and roll. That's what we were doing. There wasn't a message, but the audience, you, the people, whoever, chose the message. That there wasn't a message, because I did many interviews with Richard O'Brien, and then eventually, after theses were written about it, and blah, 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 then he started to talk about the message, and I thought, you're a fibber, there wasn't a message. And then it came, and so it's what people took from
That's
the film.
right, that's
Yes.
right. Richard wrote it to entertain and we performed it to entertain. And it
Based
was
on a
that
great
house.
book called Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. That was clever.
And they were showing up at a midnight showing in New York, and they were showing themselves to the world, and I think this was a real important step for that whole movement. I'm still straight, but
That's not what I said.
that's So
Because I want to ask Pat and Nell about another film they made with Richard O'Brien that a lot of people didn't like for many, many years, that is suddenly starting to be seen as kind of a classic of its own, and that's Shock Treatment. The equal, not sequel to Rocky Horror. So what was that experience like when you got back together and made that film without Mary?
Well, there were a few very important things missing in that film. Number one, Tim Curry, and number 2 and 3, Barry and Susan. To me, that would have made the film.
Yes.
I think the film, if it had those people in it, would be just massive.
I'm sorry, I totally disagree.
I agree with you.
The whole thing about Shock Treatment was that it was going to take place in Texas, be filmed in Texas. And, excuse me, there was a writer's strike in America, so no one could work and without tools. So we went into Wembley Studio to make it. So that was a very big change in their ideas. It isn't called Texas, it's a tiny studio. So they had to adapt to that very quickly. Apart from that, Shock Treatment isn't based on a book called Frankenstein. And it's another story, and it's about reality TV. And it's so ahead of its time, the idea, that people didn't even know what it was about. I didn't, and I was in it. I found it hard to follow, but anyway. And so, it's not sequel or equal anything, it's completely different. Very different music, but marvellous. The song's great.
Fabulous.
And they've just done it in London on the stage. They've readapted it, and it's had fantastic reviews. And like the Times critic and everyone saying, we're just singing down the street every song from it. So it's like before its time. And then when the Jim Carrey show came out, the Truman Show, Richard was talking to me and said, they've stolen my plot, because he's in a born in a soap opera. Well, they were in a game show. It's extraordinary, because that's what reality TV is now, isn't it?
It's very prophetic.
Like Big Brother, the house, living there.
I just think the thread between the 2 films are going to be obviously a completely different subject matter, whatever, but I think it would have been great if those people had been in very different roles as we were in it were. But anyway, it wasn't to be.
And there was always talk about another sequel, but that never came to be either. Another direct sequel to Rocky Horror that never happened.
I think it was called The Old Queen.
Yeah, the Revenge of the
I
Old
gasped. And I think Frank's went and gone to Denton, and Janet's pregnant. I thought, how horrible the pregnancies in Rocky Horror. A baby of Frank. Ugh. Sorry, I didn't get that. But I kind of worked out I wasn't going to be in it, because Richard O'Brien killed me off in a magazine. He made up the joke, disappeared or something. I thought, I didn't. I went back to Transylvania, I remember that. So I said to him in a very public place where he was with the press and everything, I said, am I going to be in this film, The Old Queen, Richard? And he said, shut up. So that never got made, but I knew nothing about it, really. You?
I was in it. It was fabulous.
My wife wanted me to be in it because she thinks I'm an old queen. Apparently, according to you.
All right, so I'm going to open it up to audience questions now because we have a few minutes left. We have 2 microphones here on each side. If anybody wants to go and ask a question. I know you do. Come on. Don't be shy. But you guys had, in Shock Treatment, you had Barry Humphries, who was
That was a plus.
wonderful.
Yeah.
And Rick Mayall as well. Unfortunately.
Ruby Wax.
Yeah, Ruby Wax.
Yeah, but they all came from the Comedy Store. We're back to Chalky White, the producer, because he produced the Comedy Store with all of them. So that's how they entered that world, again, through him. So Rick and Ruby were all Comedy Store people.
So you're saying basically if you want to get into this business and have control, become a producer.
Sorry?
If you want to get into show business and be in control, meet the producer. That's the guy that gets to make all the decisions.
Well, funny enough, I think the best person you have to sleep with somebody, because I made a mistake of sleeping with directors. I think you should sleep with the casting directors.
That was my 10 in those days.
That's my tip.
Female casting directors are pretty doggy, you know.
Now, there are 2 casting directors in the whole of London, Miriam Brickman and another one.
And I second both of them.
And the point being that people like, it was only because Americans didn't know who we were. So everyone knew, it's hard to explain that, we didn't need casting directors, we had agents who were powerful, they did all that. And it was like Lily Allen came to cast, so he went to Miriam Brickman to bring in the actors that she thought might be right, because he didn't know English actors. You see, that's why they existed. Now there's 1 billion casting directors, and I'd like to put them all up against the wall and because they have made like hell. Because they choose the list who's going to be, and so that means I can't get through the door if that casting director thinks, I think in fact I'll be right for that. But who are you to say that?
I totally say.
So I'm just saying casting directors.
All right, we're going to start over here. We have one question over here first.
Okay, I was wondering for all 3 of you what your favorite songs were from Rocky Horror to perform or just enjoy the sound.
Mine was a song called Once in a While.
Once in a while, it happens always.
This song was cut from the film.
Sit down. And it's my favorite song because it was cut from the movie.
You have to know your darlings, you know.
It was the wrong song at the wrong time.
You just did good.
Sung by the right person. Now let's pass it down the panel.
Oh, the time warp, because obviously I'm the star.
A science fiction. I was going to sing in the film, which you did, Brian.
I got to do my tap dance solo in the time warp. Tell us about it, Jim.
We're going to go here this side. Take this question.
I was wondering what it was like working with the costumes. Like, there's some really great costumes in the movie.
Mine seem to be ripped in very odd places as yours.
You made those rips now. You're a flasher and always have been. You're always popping out.
And you
What?
Yeah.
Sorry?
What?
I just take.
I found out about that when I saw the film for the first time. What was the question?
She on stage, she was still getting fan mail, and I and Jen didn't get any. And I thought, I don't know why that is. But of course it was the Dirty Mac Brigade, because they kept popping out. Rouged. Sorry, yeah.
So your favorite costumes are very, I mean, what about wearing
My
shoes? Oh, very nice.
I have an amazing she created a pump, not for the was. Anyway, and it was the story is that it's Magenta's dinner dress, and they had one piece of chiffon for the dress, and that cost a lot of money. The whole budget of the film was that piece of chiffon. And she was terrified to cut it because it had to be cut on the bias, and just like that was the shape. And the boy assisting her, he cut it, and she said she had to turn her back to the wall. She looked up, but she couldn't watch him in case it didn't work. Because if it didn't work, there was no dress. And she turned around, he cut it so amazingly. I've been on the show since, and that dress has been made again. It's never the same, the shape. And he turned. And anyway, so that thing, it just drapes over, and it has two holes in the arms, and it's just the cut of it. And it's gorgeous. But it's a lovely story that she does, they get it wrong.
The budget for the costumes on the film was $1,650 for all the costumes.
Okay, we'll take a question over here.
My question is for Mr. Bostwick. In 1977, you won a Tony Award for doing Robert Bridegroom.
Thank you.
And
You didn't know that, did you?
what?
The Robert Bridegroom. It was a show I did on Broadway.
The what bridegroom?
The Robert Bridegroom. See, that was the problem with the show. Nobody could say the title. The Robert Bridegroom.
Could you spell that second word?
R-O-B-B-E-R.
That 10 minutes is going down.
Bridegroom. Thank you. On the movies, Nick. You didn't know this, did you?
No.
No? Okay.
Where are you two going?
I'd like to take your notice.
Going out to buy the Nick and Nora cast album. No, did I answer your question? And thank you for bringing that up. I'll give you the $10 later.
You're on the clock.
Okay.
Next question.
Also have a question for Barry Bostwick.
Yes.
Can you tell me exactly which hour belongs to the watchword?
Oh, yeah. See, now, this is another $10 I have to pay somebody. The Devil's Carnival, Hallelujah, is a musical that we did that's coming out in March. Darren Bousman directed it, who did Repo, the Genetic Opera, and the first Devil's Carnival. And I did another movie for him called Tales of Halloween, that was out of Halloween. And, he's a brilliant young filmmaker and musical person, and I play a character called the Watchword in it. And you asked me a question like, what exact hour? I have no idea because I don't remember the movie.
You've got to make it up.
I think it's
13 o'clock.
13 o'clock.
What's this about an hour?
It was called the Robert Bridegroom. Thank you very much. Look for it. Devil's Carnival. Hallelujah.
13 o'clock.
You look lovely.
I repeat, 13 o'clock.
You're very gorgeous.
Yeah.
That's
Keep
you,
right
right
ahead,
there.
guy.
Hello? That's you. I'm saying you look lovely. Yeah.
All right, we have 2 questions left. What's your question again?
Hi, I was wondering if you have ever been back to the place where you shot Rocky Horror. What was that experience for you?
I have. Richard and Brian and I were won as a prize on the radio show to have lunch at Oakley Court, the hotel. And I haven't been back since then, and these girls won, so they won us lunch. So we were in the dining room. Well, we had meatloaf. It was great to get back there. And then friends of mine, it's near Windsor, our friend was riding his bicycle in the grounds of Oakley Court, and he said, there are people running around here dressed up as you. I said, what? I said, that'd be the Rocky Horror Picnic, it's once a year. And I said, put me onto them, the phone, say I'm on your phone. And he gave it to Dave and Stephanie, who run whole picnic thing, and they're talking to me. I said, I don't want to talk to you. I want to talk to the people, the agendas who have come to the picnic. I don't want to talk to them, you know, those two. So I talked to the agendas. It was lovely. That was a coincidence, do you think?
Next weekend, Bostwick Court, was it?
They're still there.
What was
I
that?
wish to Brian get on and on about that, about the doors. The doors have gone. There were like stained glass panel windows in those doors. He said, I've always wanted those doors. He went on and on about it. I said, can you shut up about the bloody doors?
Yeah.
All right, and our final question of the panel.
It actually isn't a question. Y'all had mentioned that a different type of person came to the theaters to see it. We came at the age of 14 every Friday. I'm from Charleston, South Carolina. Thank you. There was a theater called the Riviera, and we would go stoned. Really stoned. With popcorn every Friday, and y'all rock my world. Children, when I guess 10 years ago, saw the movie on TV for the first time and were like, really, Mom?
How old were your children when they saw it the first time?
They were in, my older two were in their middle teens, and they were like, and I said, look, I got your grandmother watching Saturday Night Live at this point, and
I encourage you all to have your children watch the film from birth.
And I think the problem with why your children didn't get it because you didn't get them stoned before. Oh, you did? Yeah.
But
What did you say?
I had moved to a new area
Yeah.
and met the group of people that did this every Friday night. And that's why I said, I know I've seen it over 100 times in a theater. And what it did for me, it was wonderful. It was a release of angst in a teenager to go and have fun and have popcorn and have the poor people behind us.
Yeah.
Every night after midnight, sweeping up popcorn because that was the thing to do then.
Yeah, but the most important question is, did you get laid?
Actually,
Run on to that.
no, I don't have a problem answering that. My first husband, I had my first 2 children by. He passed away, and I married a very wonderful man who raised those children as their own, and I have my youngest by him.
Oh my God, that's great.
And the youngest actually got to watch Rocky Horror Picture Show with the other 2, but no, I did not get her stoned today.
Oh. Well, thank you for the question. Thank you for the comment. Yes.
I just want to say, let's give a big round of applause for their Thank you all for coming. We'll see you tonight at the Martin Music Hall for the Rocky Horror Picture Show experience.